Welcome to our channel. On today's video, we're going to be talking about top 10 scams that you'll run into while traveling across the United States. Many of these scams prey on your desire to help other people in need. So we're going to go over a few scams and a few things you need to look out for as you travel through the United States. In this case, this incident was very fishy. A vehicle in East St. Louis, one of the most dangerous places in the United States, was stranded on the highway, and a young man was walking around aimlessly. He had Florida tags, just like me. He was a fellow traveler as myself. I noticed that he was speaking in Creole at the gas station. Turns out that he had put the wrong type of fuel in his vehicle, and now he was stranded on the highway. I used my best judgment to help this person, even though I knew that the setting was a little bit sketchy. He wanted nothing but help to remove the vehicle from the road, but this could have very easily been a trap. And whenever you are in unfamiliar urban settings, there are many traps put in your way that are gonna look like normal situations, and your ability to avoid these situations rather than to engage them will mean the difference between being scammed or targeted for a crime and being able to avoid a certain trap. Many times there are clues that will let you know that this is a very bad place to engage a person. In this circumstance, a vehicle is blocking an off-ramp with easy access to a highway. This situation, while definitely could have been a person on their phone or somebody distracted, had all the markings of a perfect ambush. There's nowhere to run, and the person that is in the other vehicle has easy access to escape into an off-ramp. Definitely very sketchy of a place, and being in Baltimore, one of the most dangerous cities, this was definitely one you wanted to pass up on. You have to know when something just isn't right, and that instinct may save you from a lot of trouble. Sometimes knowing exactly what the scam is or what the thieves are targeting is going to be difficult, but your instinct should tell you something isn't right here. In this circumstance, notice how the red vehicle came off and got into the road. Let's go back for a moment. Did you notice that the divided line ended right there? The moment this vehicle cut me off, I felt that something was wrong. Notice that there's a vehicle on the road, and the vehicle appears to be stranded. It's a trailer that has no lights. And sure enough, the red vehicle went to the right. I felt that going to the right to pass this vehicle, which was a turn that I had to make according to my blinker, was already a bad decision. Notice how I stayed back and I didn't go according to my turn signal direction since somebody had walked onto the road. As soon as that person left in the red car and through the intersection, then I quickly sped past the trailer that was stranded on the road. This could have been easily a trap. Notice that there's many people on the sidelines. That is usually a clue, and sometimes those people on the sidelines play a key role in what's going on. In this circumstance here, we find somebody who definitely needed help. The person went on to tell me that they were having a medical episode. Of course, common sense would tell you that another scenario is much more likely. Every time you engage somebody in a setting like this, you're putting yourself in a very vulnerable position. We always take precautions like having another driver ready to go. In this case, I have somebody there ready to go, and they understand that if something goes wrong, they're going to step on the gas and they're going to leave with the vehicle, leaving me behind, and I'll run and catch up to them. And that's kind of how we prepare so that if something does go wrong, we already have a plan in place that we've practiced. So I don't really recommend you go out there and be a hero because you can easily be robbed, carjacked, or any other type of scam could easily target you. Alright, so let's get into these top 10 scams that you're going to run into in the United States. I just wanted to have kind of an introduction so you guys can understand that there are situations where real life scenarios happen and you can help people. That is what the vast majority of these scams are going to target. Even though in this scenario the person actually needed help, there were a few dangers that were clearly evident. One is when I grabbed the gentleman's hat, did you notice how quickly I grabbed the hat and let it go? He had a fishing hook in a specific position, so when you grab his hat, the fishing hook cuts your hand. It's clearly not his first rodeo dropping his hat. Moreover, I asked the person if there was anything in his blood that I should be concerned about with helping him and touching him, since he had blood on his body, and he confirmed that yes, there was in fact something in his blood that I needed to be very careful with. Therefore, while this person was definitely an innocent person and needed help, there was clearly a lot of dangers revolving around this circumstance that could have definitely had some horrible consequences for me, and get himself out of the blistering sun and lay down in the shade Is this person going to do this again? Very likely. And it seems like sometimes it's really plainly understood why people don't want to help others when there's so many dangers involved. And the person you're helping will likely end up in this situation again very soon. Despite claiming a medical condition, the person clearly refused medical attention. They decided to walk away. Did you notice that the vehicle had blacked out plates? That's definitely not a good sign, but still, nothing happened. In the case in Baltimore, there was definitely a situation about to take place, and the people on the ground, some of them that were even involved in this situation, actually found the video and they said, yeah, your street smarts were on point. You were going to be boxed in and the person would have demanded to wash your windshield for a ridiculous price. If you did not pay the price, there's people on the sideline ready to carjack you either way. So definitely by not turning into the right and boxing myself in, I definitely saved myself a world of trouble. Scam number 1 is the windshield wash, especially if you're being boxed in an urban setting. The only way to avoid this one is to stay a little bit back and wait for the green light and make sure you don't get boxed in a place where they're going to force you to wash your windshield. Number 2 is the walking pedestrian. In this case, you're on the road and a pedestrian walks to block your path. Apparently, they're not aware that they're about to get hit by a vehicle. Several things could happen in this scenario. In the state of Florida where I live, what's about to happen, may it be a person walking or somebody on a bicycle, is that they're going to throw the bicycle in your path or the walker or themselves. The goal is usually to stage an accident to do insurance fraud. And as usual, there are witnesses on the sideline who are going to make great testimony to what happened. If somebody throws a bicycle or a walker in your path and you think it's suspicious, the best thing you could do is drive away. Being naive makes you a perfect victim for this crime, and having a little bit of street smarts will let you know the difference between somebody who's legitimately having an accident and somebody who's pretending to have an accident. At the end of the day, your naiveness is what's going to make you a great victim. In the case of Broward County, Florida, I was doing a video and quite literally somebody walked into my path, threw the bicycle on the road, and then looked at me like they got hurt. Clearly, they didn't really realize the whole thing was on video. As usual, there were people on the sideline who started to scream at us that we had to stay there. Number 3 is the poor old lady being helped. In this scam, a poor old lady has her car break down in a horrible neighborhood. Luckily, there's already good Samaritans there to help her. This scam revolves around the notion that you don't have to get out of your vehicle to help anybody. There's already 4. These caring young men with gang tattoos on their forehead are doing the right thing by helping an old lady whose car broke down by pushing it to the gas station. This scam revolves around touching your emotions and making you feel like you're not the one being put in danger. The goal of this scam is for you to get out and give money to the people that are pushing the old lady's car or to give her gas money. Unfortunately, this old lady has had her car break down about 20 times in the last 2 weeks. If it wasn't for the fact that I've seen this scenario play out 20 times while traveling across the United States, you would almost believe it's a genuine situation, and your instinct is to give money to the people pushing or to give money to the lady at the gas pump. Either way, it's a scam. And even more sinister is the notion that you can kind of have reconciliation with yourself for being prejudiced against young men with dreadlocks and gang tattoos. Since here they are with their pants dragging to their knees, pushing an old lady across the road. There was actually a real scenario like this that was on the internet a while back, and a lot of people supported the person who did it, and it just opened up the eyes to people on the streets that, hey, we can reenact this on the streets and get paid for it. Unfortunately, this is one of the most sinister ones because it plays on all your emotions, and even your prejudice. Why are them a wicked man? Nah, play with them a good Samaritan. Number 4 is pretty straightforward, and I actually had this one happen to me. It's very simple. Somebody bumps into you at an intersection and you think you had a rear end accident, so you open your doors to see the damage, at which point you get carjacked. This one is found all throughout the United States, and the best thing to do is stay in your vehicle after an accident, call the police, and let it go down that way. The moment you get on your phone, if you see the other car drive off, then you know you were being set up. Luckily, there was no damage to my vehicle, other than it messed up my backup sensors forever. And now when I'm trying to back up into things, it beeps when there's nothing there. And again, easy access to an off-ramp is a dead giveaway that it makes a great place for somebody to carjack you. Number 5. There's a cop here, it's safe. In a lot of scenarios that look really sketchy, I've always noticed the presence of a police car nearby, and this scam revolves around any of the other scams we've mentioned, but with one key difference. Hey, there's a car right here. Here's a police car right here. There's no way you're going to get carjacked in front of a police officer. There's no way you're about to be scammed in front of a police officer. Well, it turns out a lot of times people in the hood will use police as a perfect cover story to why it's a safe place. Here's a police officer. What could possibly go wrong with a police officer right there? If you're in a bad neighborhood and you see something sketchy happening and there's a police car present, do not assume for a minute that that police car is going to be protecting you in any way, shape, or form. Even if there's a police officer inside, the moment you need help, they're going to drive away. A lot of times, there's not really nothing the police officer can do since it's not a crime, it's a scam, and it's a way for the criminals to slap the cop in the face. Other times the police are part of the scheme. Some of the scariest situations I've been in have by chance been within the presence of a police vehicle. While traveling in the country of Cuba, I actually was stopped at a police detention center where they inspect your vehicle for illegal activities. I was pretty much extorted into having to buy a 10-pound block of cheese from the police officer. In the country of Mexico, there's a lot of rural police detention centers where you're definitely going to have to pay up to get through. A recent article by Vice News details how in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, undercover agents are pulling over vehicles, taking their money and their drugs in unwarranted searches. And this doesn't surprise me because when I was a child in Louisville, Kentucky, I was with a family member who was detained and the police officers charged them a toll for DUI. The notion that authority is there to make you safe all the time is a perfect cover-up for robbing you. The only good thing for you as a traveler is that many times these type of scams are going to target the locals and not you, an outsider. Number 6 is one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen my whole life. It's called the dead dog, and I saw this in New Orleans, Louisiana. When I arrived to my hotel in New Orleans, overlooking the French Quarter, I noticed that a man was outside weeping about his dog dying. A few hours later, his dog died again. Later on in the evening, kind of late, the same scenario was playing out. This man's dog died for the 3rd time that evening.
I ain't got no wife. I ain't got no kids. The only thing I got is my dog. He's dead. Look at him. He's not moving. He's dead. Oh, man, these $100 are just going to take a little bit of the sting away. Not the whole. Oh, another 100. Okay, I appreciate y'all. I don't know how much this means to me.
Number 7 is altercation. Somebody will create an altercation with you, like an argument, with a distraction to rob you. Or since you're already throwing hands, it's a great time to snatch a chain, snatch a purse, or for somebody in the background to steal something from you while you're distracted with your fight.
Is you looking at my boo? Oh, no, you did not. He did, honey. Look at him. He was checking me out. Oh, that's my baby. You was looking at my wife like that? Come on, man. We're going to throw them hands right now. We're going to throw them hands right near your chain.
If somebody you do not know wants to fight with you, it is time for you to walk away immediately. Never engage somebody who wants to fight you. They may have an alternative reason. The beautiful thing is with the adrenaline of the fight, you're not even going to notice that your chain or your watch or your purse is gone because you were so into your fight, you forgot to look out for your possessions. Perfect scam. Number 8 is we have a baby. Yes, a little baby in the backseat of this car that just broke down. While most scams are going to take place in the city, this scam is more common to the rural places in the United States. So if you're on a back road in Mississippi or somewhere in North Florida, and you find somebody with a broken down car, the guy's got his shirt off, he's covered in grease, he's got the hood open, and mama's in the backseat with a little baby crying, we just need $20 to buy another alternator.
Oh, yeah, let me get an alternator and 2 car batteries.
Again, playing on your emotions. It's a baby. It's not the baby's fault. The parents on crack. Let me tell you, there's somebody here in Southwest Florida who uses a baby. I call it as a bait. And I'm guaranteeing you they're making thousands of dollars a day This crap is wrong, and these people need to be put in jail for that. There's a criminal charge called contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and I think that crime needs to be applied to the people that are doing this. It's just wrong. Number 9. You pull up to the pump and it's already been prepaid. This is a credit card fraud and they're using you as a pawn. The way this scam works is you pull up to the pump, you slide your card, and it's all of a sudden ready to go. Happens is that somebody prepaid at the register to have a prepaid credit card right before you went to the register to pay. You pump your fuel and then you realize the attendant tells you, hey, somebody's at the register and they already prepaid this pump, but you already filled up your vehicle with their money, but they used a prepaid gift card or a credit card which was stolen. So you go back inside and the person says, hey, you used my gas money, now I want you to pay me back in cash. That's the way that scam works, and it's in order for you and your vehicle to pump gas with their fake credit card, because when the detectives come in, when they find that a credit card's been used and it's stolen, they look at which pump it was put on and they see what vehicle was at the pump using your license plate, and now you are going to be responsible for their stolen credit card, and you just turn their stolen credit card into cash money that they can use however they want to. This is a very common scam in Florida, especially around the Tampa, Miami, Hialeah, and Orlando area, as well as Kissimmee. And you need to be very careful when you get to a pump and it's already been prepaid. You might want to skip on it. They may even offer you an incentive like, hey man, you know what? You only pumped $42 and it was $50, so I'm losing $12. You're getting $12 of free gas. Just give me $40 cash and you'll get, $10 back or whatever. It's a really good incentive for you to think that, it's a great guy. He's giving me back $12. But what you don't realize is that you're being used to commit a felony. You're being put on the line, and they're getting away with you being the one taking the risk, and they're the ones running the scam. If the attendants working at the gas station are in on it, they're going to make this a very difficult and awkward transaction. They're going to waste your time. They're going to go back and forth many times. They're really going to make you want to just take the money and leave, but you need to stand your ground. Some precautions that you could use when you're in Tampa or Phoenix or any other city known to have a lot of scams is to prepay for your gas cash, have a receipt, and never ever pump fuel if you feel that your card was not initiated in the right sequence. You stick your card in the machine and all of a sudden you didn't put your PIN, but the pump's ready to go. That is a good indication that something didn't go right. And of course, if you drive away with their fuel, they don't really care because it's a stolen credit card anyway, and that's the incentive to make you feel, oh, there's no way this person's going to give me $50 of free fuel. They're a good guy trying to do the right thing, like always playing in on your sentiments and emotions to confuse you. It's almost a perfect scam that is very inconclusive. As you can see here, the person opened the door and they tried to play it off and they're acting normal. I mean, this plan is so perfect that they're not even afraid to do it. And in my case, it's so easy to understand. It could have easily been an honest mistake, but you can't really tell if it's an honest mistake or if you're being scammed, and that's what makes it a very clever scam. Even I realized that calling the police would do absolutely nothing, since it does seem like a genuine mistake and there's no real way to trace down and see exactly what the crap is going on at the moment, so you have to let it slide. Next time I'm in this situation, I'll know how to handle it better. Number 10, our final scam that you'll run into while traveling across America takes place while you're checking into a hotel. And this can be an actually really nice hotel. It doesn't have to be a crappy hotel. And again, they're going to play on your emotions. They're going to play on your desire to help people. And you have two options. You can look the other way and ignore a problem, or you can try to fix it. The moment you try to fix it, you're setting yourself up to be in a world of trouble. And again, criminals are going to find a way to mask their scam with your good emotions. You're going to notice a trend with all of these scams that it is almost impossible to detect if it is a genuine problem or a scam, and in that lies the perfection of their scheme. In that you, the person making the observation, is not able to decipher whether it is a genuine situation or rather the person is perpetrating a scam, making it easy to disguise and even more difficult to incriminate. In this circumstance, you walk into a hotel to check in and you notice that there's a child sleeping on the couch. The child is accompanied by the mother. Perhaps the person behind the register is friends to these people and they're letting the child sleep in the hotel lobby so they're not sleeping outside. In fact, there could even be a circumstance where a local police department has this arrangement to make sure that children are not sleeping outside. However, this could really easily mask a complete scam to get you to pay for a hotel room for them because there's a child in the way. They then proceed to use that hotel room for adult activities. Not only that, they're going to do it for several days. They're going to keep ringing up your card for services. They're going to buy food, snacks, and it's all going to be on your credit card. And it's going to be very difficult for you to get these charges dropped since at the end of the day, you did actually pay for the room and you inquired longer stays, you inquired other services. This is definitely something you're going to be really careful with. Different states have different laws, and if you're traveling, you may not be familiar with that state's laws, and you may actually have to house these people for a long time. Who the crap knows how far they can take this scam? You're paying for it. So make sure before you are a generous and kind and helping person that you understand the consequences of what could happen if somebody's devised a plan to take advantage of your kindness. And as is the case for the vast majority, if not all of these circumstances, somebody could easily say, no, this is a misunderstanding. That's not what's actually taking place. And again, that is the perfection of these scams, that they can easily be disguised as a normal circumstance. These are just some of the things that you could run into while traveling. If you have experienced a scam yourself while traveling, I would love to hear your experience, as it could help people who are watching this video to be more alert and those who are trying to devise scam for themselves. I can't really stop those people from learning from this video, but I can help you learn how to avoid their traps. If something feels wrong, or somebody's trying to do something they're not supposed to, that is the time for you to take action, because once you allow it, there's no telling how far they can go with that. And remember, you don't owe anybody anything. You're not required to do anything for anybody else unless you want to. And the moment you want to, then it's up to you to decide how it's going to happen. So if you find yourself in a circumstance where you feel inclined to help somebody, just remember that you don't owe anybody anything other than your family members and those you're required to take care of legally. Perhaps by being a generous person and helping a lot of people, tomorrow you're going to have a need and you're not going to have for yourself and those you love because you gave it to somebody who was scamming you and now they're out there getting high on your money. You're really better off spending it on the education of your children, perhaps taking your elderly parents for a visit. If you know an elderly neighbor who's struggling, you know their circumstance firsthand, that's a great opportunity to invite somebody out for dinner or do something small for somebody that you know and not somebody who you have no idea what's really going on. If we all took care of the ones we knew, then there wouldn't be people out there in real necessity. That is my video for today. I hope it educates people in the right way, and I hope nobody uses this video in the wrong way. Although seeing some of the screen names of some of our subscribers, it's kind of questionable how they're going to use this video. When you have subscribers with names like Lil Ski Mask and That Shooter Don't Play, it's hard to know how they're going to use the information. But I still think this video will give us a vast understanding of what the crap is going on out there and what we can do to help people, including ourselves, stay out of trouble and not be scammed. I remember when I was a teenager, I accidentally ran into a scam. I was doing something and something went wrong, and I discovered that what I did by accident could actually be replicated. And I did it for a while until I decided, you know what, this is wrong. But then again, I was a little stupid teenager who thought he was smart by discovering a scam. And there's really an infinite amount of things you could discover by accident sometimes that people will use to their advantage. And once somebody is onto a scam, sometimes they'll milk that scam infinitely. And my message to anybody who portrays these types of scams is the following. There are so many ways that you can make money while helping other people that there's no excuse for you to make money hurting other people. Recently, my father's EBT card that he gets from the government, which is a very small, limited amount of income that he has just for his needs. I don't know if it's actually called an EBT card. It might just be called a debit card or a credit card or something. But the government gives this person who is disabled a small amount of money, and it's just enough for this person to live on. And there's actually people who dedicate themselves specifically to taking away people's government benefits. Somebody who's on a fixed income, they target those types of credit cards for credit card scams, and they use it to buy perfumes, underwear, and other types of luxury items that they then resell. My message to people who would do something like that is the following. In the case of my father, he has me, a child, and I was able to subsidize for a month his needs until they returned that money to him. Imagine an old lady who lives in the projects and the only money she has for her medicine is that $700 credit card the government gives her. She does not have that money. She can go without her medicines since the government doesn't subsidize every single medical need through the Medicaid programs. Sometimes out of pocket, these people are having to pay for their medicines. A person could die. Yes, that person could die because for 1 month they went out with their medicines. All that so you could buy cologne, perfume to resell it. I just don't know if I could live with a conscience knowing that in the process of doing these scams, you took the life from many people just so that you could buy fake perfume or fake cologne or whatever the crap you're doing out there. Think about it. Think about the consequences that your actions have on other people. A lot of times when people are running scams, they think that there's no victim on the other end. Let me tell you a story. I ran into a customer who was buying some stuff from me off the Facebook Marketplace, and this customer had the unfortunate situation that somebody stole their credit card information. Well, guess what? Both him and his wife worked for a bank, and if you work at a bank in a certain position level, your credit has to be perfect. If you have bad credit, you can't have certain jobs. So he ended up, both him and his wife, losing their very well high-paying jobs because somebody stole their credit card information. It took a long time for them to figure out how to recover that and how to fix their life. The bank didn't have any choice but to fire them. They ended up losing their home and everything they worked for because somebody stole their credit card information. So if you're carrying out these scams and you think there's no victim on the other end or some insurance company is going to pick it up, you have no idea the situations that you're putting other people in just so you can have a little bit of money that at the end of the day, you're just going to blow it since you didn't really work for it. So if you think these are victimless crimes and there's nobody suffering at the other end, you have no idea how your actions can affect other people. Scamming is not a victimless crime, and that person that you're stealing that money from could be using it to buy life-saving medication. And when you take that away, you're responsible indirectly for that person's circumstances. So don't ever assume that an insurance company is going to refund the money or that there's no victim to these types of crimes, because I have seen individual people that I've been able to help directly that I know go through this circumstance where somebody steals their EBT or somebody steals their Social Security benefits, and we're able to help them until they refund the money and we get paid back. But if that person didn't have somebody like me nearby to help them, what could happen to that elderly person who spends an entire month without food or medication? I'll let you decide that. Definitely, scamming is not a victimless crime, and there's so many ways out there you can get it that there's no real excuse. I just saw a video on the internet last night that popped up in my timeline. I clicked on it, and there's these people hanging out in the hood in Oakland, California. There's people doing haircuts, there's people selling barbecue, there's people doing car washing, there's people doing vehicle upholstery, all this on a sidewalk in Oakland, California. Which goes to show that even if you're in a poor neighborhood, you can definitely get your hustle on in a lot of legitimate ways. And those who resort to devoting all their time and efforts to criminality are just really closing the opportunities that other people have turned down, like having a barbecue stand, like doing a car wash, like doing vehicle detailing and upholstery. You can charge people to put Rain-X on their windshields. I just used this stuff recently and it's incredible. You can just buy a bottle for $8, charge people $10 and say, look at this great product, you're going to buy it one day, blah, 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 blah. There's 1,000 legal hustles you can do to make a living that'll make you more money than scamming, and you won't have to harm other people in the process. You can download FL Studio's demo version, learn how to make some beats, and then for like $100 you can buy the real version and sell instrumentals to people. There's 1,000 legitimate hustles out there. There's no reason for you to go out there and scam other people. If you're scamming other people, it's because you lack the ability to come up with a legitimate hustle that's real.